So there's a verse from the 60 verses on reasoning by Arya Nagarjuna, and that says, by these merits, may I quickly achieve the two collections of merit and wisdom, and may I be able to by these merits that I'm producing, may all living beings, having accumulated the two collections of gnosis and merit,
아예 탑시 체발지 있습니다. 탑 체발전 아니 창조기 셈다 인제당 셰러 체발지 돈이 도비 셰러지 심비 아니 그와디 에사랑에서 안게 사베 그와디 아니 교군 시간아 아니 셈자 탐제 그와 소나미시 초조신 이제 추구주지 그 아니 소나미 그 이些个错当 수구 주지 그 아니 그 소나미 초니 아니 사발라 때네 초니 오텔라 때네 아니 가서 수구 주지 그 주고말라 때네 좀 주말라 때네 아니 타박 수구 토외다 추구 주지 그 주라 때네 저 토야 되라 아니 타박 추구 토외 타박 군이 되와 최수구 군이 오대.
So it says that by these merits, and here the merit refers to particularly to meritorious actions which are done in a way that is governed by the wisdom which understands the nature of things. When the merit, one produces merit in a way that it is governed by wisdom, then by means of that, the prayer is going that may all sentient beings, having accumulated, having completed the collection of gnosis and merit, may they obtain the two supreme kayas or bodies of the Buddha. So what is being said here is that if one performs meritorious actions, with having, in a sense, governed by this wisdom, then one is producing the cause for the achievement of the two collections, the collection of merit and gnosis. And the collection of merit serves as the principal cause for the actualization of the physical bodies of the Buddha, these so-called form bodies of the Buddha, and then likewise the collection of gnosis serves as the primary cause for the actualization of the Dharmakaya of the Buddha. And but the collection of merit and the collection of gnosis are not distinct, entirely distinct things, because the meritorious action as such serves as sort of the method side of the path, and the understanding the nature of reality, the wisdom that understands the nature of reality, is the wisdom side of the path. And so when one is generating merit by virtue of that kind of with that wisdom governing it, and when one is developing wisdom in a way which is in a sense governed by the method, the various methods that one is engaging in for producing merit, then these cooperate with each other to produce the two supreme kayas, the physical embodiments of the Buddha, and then the Dharmakaya of the Buddha.
Oh yeah, that 대당 총바 아니 로베 20년 보기 대니 가서 간다 대니 시와다 투비간이 밀어와 대단 말리 소사데 편조 바로 저와 주루 전에 어서 나신 전에 요 간다 아니 시 대반이 내주 시와 간다 군조 대바데 된다 내주 시와다 대시와 대기 아니 좀 된대지 아니 타바다 타지 제바 주베 감밀로와 또니 와 투비간이 밀로와 대전에 아니 가서 타바다 타지 제바 주베 시도 아니 건도 시아바고 저 산제주 공반 토바지비 아니 추구주지 아니 소나기 이시그 초당 수구주지지 아니 소나기 초산에 대단 말이 초산에 초사발라 때네 아니 핀소 바로 도와주를 아니 피순사 왔으나 덴바기 아니 산제주 공반데 도와지 아니 도 가서 도와주고 그랬다.
So then the same thing is expressed by the master Jnanagarbha, and he says the intent of the verse is that with the foundation of understanding the two realities of ultimate phenomenal reality and ultimate reality, then with that understanding, then those serve to enable one to develop wisdom and method, and wisdom and method then again serve as the principal causes. Wisdom serves as the principal cause for the accumulation of gnosis, and method serves as the principal cause for the accumulation of merit. And then those two cooperating with each other serve as the primary cause for the actualization of the two embodiments of a Buddha, the Dharmakaya and the physical embodiments of the Buddha, the Nirmana and Sambhogakayas. So then by means of that, then that is with that foundation, and then the practice of wisdom and method, and the accumulation of the merits, merit and gnosis, then one is able to achieve the ultimate good, the ultimate form of excellence.
Oh yeah, that didn't 아니 시내도 때나 배배대 개체시 차요와래 시라 땜바니 람라 탑세니 데울라 아니 꾸치수 주꾸니 전에 도스용 거 아니다. 그러봐 인자 토마 아니 시내 시땜바니 그네서 때나 바고야.
So then, therefore, in all three sort of aspects of the path, there's a foundation or basis. There's the path as such, and then there's the result of the path. The foundation here is the understanding of the two realities, ultimate and phenomenal reality. Then the path involves the development of wisdom and method, which correlate with the two realities. And likewise, the two embodiments of a Buddha, the Dharmakaya and the physical embodiments of a Buddha, correlate with the two realities as well. So therefore, at the level of the basis level of the understanding the things, then one has to understand these two realities.
Oh. 인상 시인에 가서 땜바지 땜나 봐야 가치와 임상 아니 가서래 창조지점 여러도 예배 지뢰셔버 주발라 군조단团队 땜바라 민다와라 전에다 주반 양수 렘비간라 주반 양수 렘비간라 칸데 량고래 해서라 좀 된대기 아 손이 온도제가 가서 주반 양수 렘비 칸데 량고래 해서라 주바상 공 오라 tomba 세대 용이가라 가르쳐 거래서나 군조단团队 땜바라 마다와 아니 년들어서 와다 통마이 비 최소 세가라 군조단 团队 땜바라 민다와 세가라 타녀도 예발라 민다와다 전담도 매발라 민다와 요 전담바에 매발라 다나 주반양실에 두 찍로 두와 말에 타녀도 예발라 다나양 안에 주반양실에 매조와 다 가상은 좀 다라 가서 망부터야 되지 말에 얘가 군조다 团队 땜발라 민다와 세가라 团队 매나 안에 타녀 준대가 나셔 좀 매줘 봤는데 많이 봐团队 매발라 가서 민다와 团队 매발开래 타녀도 예발라 다나 타녀도 매고래 대이나 안에 내가 준대 토제라서 아니 가서를 좀 믿어 봐 현장 다 소대 아니 가서 타녀도 예바다 아니 랑신지 맞주바란 게 천이지 매번 현장 아니 다 텐들기 아니 담반이 오대 나사테 태바 현장 대현장 아니 다 람탑시 연구하래 저국군이 연구하래 아니 주군줄에 때는 저우동아 영화 중화디 연구하래 아니 줄람데라 때문에 대우 과단 토바지 연구하래.
So this same thing is expressed in the ornament for the realizations, where it says that whatever practice that is to be taken up does not go beyond the two realities, ultimate reality and phenomenal reality. This is indicating that any kind of, in the context of the path as well, these two realities must be understood correctly in order for practice to occur properly. So here the two realities are that on the one hand, from the point of view of ultimate reality, there's nothing whatsoever that exists ultimately, that is ultimately existent. That is, ultimately, things are non-existent. Nevertheless, from the point of view of, within the context of phenomenal reality, we have to say that things are conventionally existent. That is, we can establish them properly through valid knowledge and such. And so on the one hand, they're being not ultimately existent, but rather conventionally existent. This ensures that the entire presentation of causality in terms of cause and effect is applicable and valid, so that in the case of, say, the four Arya realities or Four Noble Truths, then one could say that in the first two sets, the fact that suffering arises from its origin entails that it's necessarily conventionally existent, and it can be demonstrated validly to be that way. Yet, likewise, the fact that suffering arises from its origin entails that it doesn't have any kind of intrinsic existence that would preclude it being entering into those kinds of relationships of cause and effect. And therefore, it does not exist ultimately, but only exists conventionally. And then similarly, in the context of the path, too, the same thing applies, that the path serves as the agent which actualizes cessation. And those two have the same kind of relationship, being not ultimately existent, but only conventionally existent. And yet, even though they're not ultimately existent, they can be demonstrated and established conventionally. So thus, if one exceeds either of the two realities, if one goes beyond them, then this sort of presentation of the way things work, it cannot be established. So if one goes beyond saying that things are not ultimately existent, and instead says that something is ultimately existent, that would preclude it from existing within causal relationships, and then you could not have suffering arising from its origin, the cessation being actualized by the path. And likewise, if you exceed phenomenal reality, that is, that things are conventionally existent, then one would, if one goes beyond that in the sense of negating it and saying that you can't establish things even conventionally as existing, then one falls into a sort of nihilistic extreme, which precludes establishing the causal relationships between suffering and its origin and cessation in the path, and so that the entire presentation of the Dharma is not viable unless one has the two realities presented and established correctly.
Oh yeah, that's it. Then when you get to the show, I see it in the church. I'm there. I see it on young. Any don't I see it on the Tony Tanla party. Any don't you to be share of teas. Any share of the Chatham day. Don't you to be share of teas if you're going to answer the 아니 타녀도 라시지 매장 타녀 잠도 아니 있던데 양라 중이지 거네 아니 코르코네 아니 동안 나서 아 나만 나서 와냥 저 300거네 아니 아니 가서래 텐자에 동안라 잔적이 자와 이제 전복이 신비 거네 아니 다 탑지샤 티신비 거네 양술래데 시tem반이 이게 내주지 땡라 파배 영화 연장 되니 이게 내주지 탐부 태바 연장 다 텔라 타지 시와 나신 전에 주바랑경오 이게 내주지 땡라 파이가라 주바랑경오 라tom바데 아니 중앙 연장 다 티제라 아니 미유템바실라 tom바 전이 연구하리 미유템바실라 저가 아니 가서래 말아서 아니 semjen yinche dunga jina me khasa chi yin chinje la ane dunga me de ba dang dewa de ba rang je su ye ba yin zang ane dunga jin na su chawa du den san be ane dunga ki nye me ten na dunga la me de be la chi je dunga me de na ane dunga ki ju ma jo kun ju ma lo ba de dunga me do ba ane kun ju la den na dunga chun chu de ma shi o du gi ni bang ja yin ba la tombe dam de 두개 반 두대 아니 님이 이권에 세와당 뒤주 방제 로티게 아니 두대 방와 제발라 아니 방장님 보면 봐 주대 보면 봐 현장 아니 다어 조군중기 저와 당제 말을 받태라 티 현유매 방 달라 된진달라 오스 내제 그 현유매 방 오스도 더 남대당 람딘데 과발라 땐 과발라 땐에 타르 동아세 비슷하게 과바디요 인장 아니 방 가서 님보 과람이라 담에 아니 미유다 마실라 또 담바 세디 독성 거래 뒤죽으들라 미유다 마실라 또 미바 미유다 마실라 담바
마실라 담 담보 데니
담보 데니 때라 때라 파 데니 때라 매바나 아니 가서 군저 누군 냠미 누군 반자 임바당 아니요 고라라 랑자 임바데 대투고 말와
So then, once one's established the two realities properly, then one can also properly establish the four noble truths. So here, as said, that the ultimate reality is that things don't exist ultimately. They exist. They don't have even an atom of intrinsic existence. And that absence of intrinsic existence is understood through the wisdom that understands selflessness, reality as it actually is, recognition and understanding of the absence of intrinsic existence. And then yet that wisdom that understands the ultimate reality of things, their absence of, their lack of existing ultimately, that doesn't negate the conventional existence of things. Rather, it allows one to understand the way in which things do conventionally exist properly. And so that conventional existence of things pertaining particularly to phenomenal reality, if one understands them correctly such that they reinforce and support each other, then and only then is one able to properly present the four noble truths. And as said there, that once one sees the two truths, two realities correctly, then the four truths can be understood correctly, such that then when one sees that that the thing which is to be gotten rid of, the origin of suffering and suffering that arises from it, is they exist conventionally, but they don't exist ultimately. They operate in a relationship which is established conventionally, but within them individually and between them, there's not a bit of intrinsic existence, which would preclude them actually interacting and working together to produce suffering. So when you see the first set of the four truths, origin and suffering in that way, then one recognizes that all of the suffering in samsara, all of the different forms of it, all of its different variations, arises from the cause, the source. That source in particular is, at its very basis, is the ignorance misapprehending things as being real. And so then one takes that as sort of like that misapprehension of the nature of things as the primary target or thing that one is attempting to get rid of. And because it's that ignorance, misapprehension of things as being real, is a misapprehension of things which is contrary to the way things actually are as they exist within the two realities of phenomenal and ultimate reality. Therefore, then taking that ignorance as the primary thing to be negated, then one enters into the path. And the path itself is the process, the central focus of the path is the eradication of that ignorance, and the eradication of the ignorance through the wisdom that knows things as they are, then itself actualizes cessation. As we've said already, then the wisdom that understands things as they are, a reality, negates the ignorance which misapprehends things as being real because they're contrary to each other. They're directly opposite of each other in terms of the way they apprehend things, the ignorance apprehending things as if they were existed by means of their own intrinsic identity or existed objectively as they appear in this sort of real way. Whereas the wisdom that understands selflessness or reality here sees the absence of that conceived object of ignorance, and through the eradication of first the negation of that conceived object, and then the consequent elimination of the ignorance which misapprehends things in that false way, then cessation. Cessation is really the elimination of the misapprehension of things as being real and all of the effects that arise out of that misapprehension of things. When that is eliminated, then cessation is actualized. And similarly, with respect to path and cessation, they cooperate and they only work when one understands them within the context of the two realities, phenomenal and ultimate reality, that they also, just like the first two sets, are not established intrinsically. They don't exist ultimately, but rather are only established conventionally and operate within the as conventionally. They exist conventionally, or can be established conventionally.
Oh yeah, that. Then bangja dugun dang langja kolam shedu zamba. Ani lamla kase dugin service. Lot lamdin shewe. Ani kase dugin sabar shewe seche lamdin dang. Ti secha kolam koba sirikana. Ani chew kunjo. Tender yu kolam jule tembe kansa de kundu kunjo. 아니 타를 년보 가서래 년보기 아니 방자 팀이 년보 야 림바 신도 공비 타를 아니 팀이 세바세비 아니 랑지 그 디바스 세비 세자 아 타도기 아니 산제지 여바 인장 텐다와데 산제 군조 랑그 털제 주비 아니 어 군조숨 텐다지 용아라 아니 어 랑도진의 치지 말로바 땡겐기 아니 양 산제 군조지 요거에는 규격주 주의 산제 군조 고고와 인장 어 텐다기 아니 유자도 주의 군조숨 어 아니 대자도 주의 군조숨 뭐데 딜라테네 아니 대시 랑도 셰와라 때네 다 군조숨 여바지 참여 주고요 인장 아니 가서를 산제 군조 톱자 아니 가서 고란이 워티 톱지 최군제대 톱지 아니 대주박이 아니 가사 현주리 아니 가사를 일에 대한 말때 아니 기자도 주위 안에 근저 토지람 고람 줄에 대한 말때 근저 랑거 토지 주위 근저 두 스텝이다 아니 대 근저스물라 또 배당아 세디 티주도 연거에 두선 거래 대 근저스물라 또 배당아 대 근저스물라 또 배당아
then
근저스물라
then kunjosumla then
미유 덴바시 대 근저스물라 또 배당
make you dembashi
미유 덴바시 다시 친사인 봐 다 대 근저스물세 가나 고람 줄에 대비 대 응도 근저스물들 좀 바신도 자샤기도 와 yeah.
So then the way we can understand the relationship between correct understanding of these four realities for Aryas, or Four Noble Truths, and likewise then the three jewels, the relationship between them is that when one understands the Four Noble Truths correctly, then one can see that one can actualize the three jewels. So that taking particularly the path and cessation here is the extinction of some portion of the obstacles that prevent one from achieving liberation, or that prevent one from achieving omniscience, Buddhahood. So the path then, which is the principal agent which eliminates those obstacles or obscurations from the mind. The path serves as that which actualizes that elimination of some portion of the obstacles from one's mind. So when one understands how the path works, and when one actualizes the path within oneself, then a person who has actualized the path in that way is able to eliminate some portion of these obstacles to liberation or the perfect awakening of Buddhahood. And once one's done that, then oneself has actualized the Dharma jewel within oneself. That is one's own Dharma jewel, the thing to be obtained by oneself, which here is referring particularly to the cessations that are actualized through the path. When that happens, then one has that Dharma jewel within oneself. And the person who has that Dharma jewel within them is a Sangha jewel, is a Sangha jewel. And then once one gradually, over the course of the development of the path, gradually eliminates more and more of the obstacles to be gotten rid of, by means of continued cultivation of the path, then eventually one extinguishes all of the obstacles and actualizes perfect awakening of Buddhahood, becomes a Buddha, and then one is the Buddha jewel oneself. So in this way we can see the way in which the three jewels as the result that one is attempting to obtain can be demonstrated as operating and working such that oneself can actualize the three jewels within oneself. And likewise, from the same sort of demonstration of the way that the path operates to actualize the three jewels through the process of cessation of and actualization of cessation, then one can see likewise how this has been achieved, is actualized within others, so that we can see within other persons the existence of, or other persons who were able to assist us in proceeding along the path are particularly those who have actualized the path such that they've achieved some level of cessation. Those persons are the Sangha jewel as sort of external or sort of in a causal sense of a person that helps you to progress along the path. Then likewise the Dharma, which is taught, which they teach, is the Dharma jewel in the sense of the cause as that which is going to help you by understanding it to yourself actualize the three jewels within oneself. And then the Buddha as the principal person who teaches the Dharma is likewise then the Buddha jewel who serves as a cause for one's own actualization of the effect form of the three jewels when oneself becomes a Buddha.
Oh yeah, that is she demanding in the Dana pub. I need Telatane and the Dugan Dana pub, Dugan Panjatan. They bomb Dugan Seba bomb Seba Chabala, and a lamb tafshin you Gombala Dane, Lam Den Gom. Gombala Dane, and oh, Yawana Rimji, Sebe, Tar, and Casore, Dana Tadu Sanja Kunjosum, but the Tawa Chabala, and a Te Tobjigi, that Druban Yamsu Lemba, Goa Yenzang, and the Druban Yamsu Lemba La, and the Druban Yamsu Lemba, Patu Jabba Chavaki, Jundugi Melo, Jundu Dangoa, and the Jundugi Midin Show. Ane lelo ngala shemba la dilu dani nyewa wo chani junju le suma na shen chani lelo kani junju tsam goya de sheba la ane junju tsamba nyuji chika shewe tuanla nyandan chawa chani ta ti chesu chawa ngale shine chawa ngale shiji lelo dani le lewi nyolo ane shumi lelo o lelo sumbo de ka de ane druba nyamsu lemba la junju kena 아니 타르 아니 림바 신도 토미 아니 토미 가서 현대주비 체전라 아니 장하다 뭐시다 아니 방자리 림바 신도 세바기 아니 통란 토야다 테네 림바 신도 세니 공란 토야다 테네 림바 신도 산제지 공반 토야지 연구와 인장 아니 담가 주인나네 아니 통나라 담바 권나라 담바 세 아니 가서 무시 출라도마 쟁하라 도마 세디 현재 집에 체전과 대도 현재 좀 멋이 온 거 같아. 아고서. 그래서 나
디모스 레로숨디 차와 마치
내려주 차왕의 시지 내로 다니엘 예위 내로 슌빌레로
차와 차왕
냠발라 셴바
차왕 냠발라 셴바
다니엘 예위 내로
다니엘
예위 내로
do you remember that Daniel those three sorry 아니
다유죠.
아니래.
가자 레로. 자왕의식이 내서나 자왕의식 가르쳐 그래.
정의식이래.
자왕의로서 최주비 자왕 마인바 최주발라 바제체. 다시 자왕과 자왕의식이 내려와. 와. 다니엘 레지가 아니라는 바양다 뭐 저비 상주 톰되고 말에 남바지 진주라요. 가서 진주 측지와 단내 테마서
준비래로
다니엘 예외래로
생길 예불
어야 nga choso ki nga ta nga ta wo de ba me ba san ji to ku ma de san ne ha zhang bu xia zhang pong wa da ti xin sun bi de jian na te jiang zhen bei de jian na chang ju to ga lan na mo da da ri jian me jian na pan dang me me ba ngo xian na te yi chang ju jin mi de shi sun duo zhang bu dang xia zhang dang pong wa la so wa la san ye ge zhi ge wa de san ye ji zhi ge wa yin zang te da ge yang ane san ye to to bai yo to wa yong guo de 나다 리지 미지가 나다고 미지네 안에 팬바다 내가 쉐바 랑도기 내 쉐바 인상 안에 창조 중에 창조 미주바지 그 말이 이 당일 내밀어 고고 말이
So then the way this works then is that if you understand the way in which the practices that are to be taken up all pertain or based upon the understanding of the two realities, phenomenal and ultimate reality, then based upon that kind of understanding, one can then understand the Four Noble Truths correctly, how they operate, cooperate to on the first set in producing suffering, and that being that which is to be eliminated, then the second set being the path which is to be actualized and and then nirvana which is to be achieved, and how those sets work within the context of the two realities. Then based upon that, if one understands how it is that oneself can actualize the three jewels, which are the ultimate three jewels, are oneself actualizing the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha jewel as oneself. Oneself has to do that. And then the conventional or causal form of the three jewels are external persons who teach the Dharma as a teaching outside of that one learns, and then the Buddha as the teacher of the Dharma. These three jewels serve as the means for as a method for oneself to actualize the ultimate final three jewels. When one understands all of that, then one can see how it is that oneself can actualize the path. So one can, by understanding the two realities as a foundation, one can recognize that oneself is able to actualize the path, is able to become the three jewels oneself, and then that sort of understanding of the Four Noble Truths as a way in which a person oneself is able to actualize Buddha, Dharma, Sangha within oneself, gives one the effort to actually do it, and the effort here arises from a proper understanding of how all of this works and is presented coherently. Then once one does understand that, one will generate effort, and that will enable one to overcome laziness, which is the primary obstacle to making progress within the path. Here, laziness, there's multiple kinds of laziness. Three different types are mentioned in the introduction to the Bodhisattva's way of life, such as laziness, which is a kind of attachment to inferior forms of activities. Then there's a laziness which is a thinking that oneself is unable to accomplish something. And then there's the laziness of discouragement when one encounters hardships or problems in trying to accomplish something. And the second kind of laziness, the one that thinks that I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, Buddha could do this, but I can't do that. That's that kind of laziness is a key obstacle to actually entering into and making progress on the path. The way to counteract that form of laziness in particular is by considering the fact that even flies and donkeys have become Buddhas. It's clear in the sutras that the Buddha has said once he was a fly, he was a donkey once. And so these, since the Buddha was in that kind of condition where he didn't know anything, he was completely ignorant at that time, then we're human beings. We have intelligence. We have the ability to distinguish things that are to be practiced and things that are to be abandoned, avoided. So if it's the case that flies and donkeys have become Buddhas, then how could it possibly be the case that humans such as ourselves would be unable to do this?
Oh yeah, that is 사전 쉬어야 돼. 아니 가서 창조주 쌤 깨봤담지 미쳐봐. 온도계 가서 쌤 쪄네. 아니 가르치고 그래서나 아니 냠수 나자들라 되네 다 담아주 세니. 담아주기 나네 담보대 아니 시대만이 그네서 때라 봐야 두바랑 거고 군자다 된다비 된바람 믿어봐. 오 시tuk세니다 연구하래. 라.
독불하기고
다지 말고 내가 다지 데려가 말이야. 군자 된다면 담바람 믿나 다지 나와인 봐.
So then in order to then understand the
나중에 깨대 온도쟁이 가수 창조도 쌤 깨봤는지 미쳐봐. 쌤 깨면에 안에 가르치고 그래서나 안에 냠술래야 되라 담아 주스.
So then, in the ornament for the realizations, Abhisamaya it says that it's not enough just to produce bodhicitta. It's necessary to actually enter into the practice, and in order to do that, then there's different instructions that go along with that. The having one engage in the practices, and among them there are 10 instructions, and what I mentioned here is the instruction on the two realities. That is a method for inducing one to not simply develop bodhicitta, have bodhicitta as a wish, but to engage in the practices that follow upon developing bodhicitta.
인자한테 아니 통마게 아니 대대나 배워야 되라 대나 배워 인자 두바랑 거 어떤 배가나 아니 대만이라 민다와 냠술련 거 시작거와 인자 아니 시대만 이게 내 주대나 배워야 가치고 인자 당에 대지 주셔.
So then, therefore, in order to for this to work, one has to first establish what the two realities are, and in order to establish what the two realities are, you have to explain the character of the two realities, how they're subdivided, the subdivisions of them, their character, and so forth, and that's what we've begun doing and did yesterday.
가상 그참 단위와 니니 그 천이 되라. 니와 군조 대비 천이 셔발라 투. 군조다 나담바 니예베나 군조 대비 천이. 니 투래 당보 최나노 니니 예수空단 제와니. 와. 다들 가르래서나 치다난 그 친한 거 인치 강다 가이나라 대레레 라양 안에 가르래서나 된단바 안에 동반이다 된단된바 안에 탄야도 예병오 된단대병 어디당 탄야도 예병 군조대병 니니 요아래 와 요아 근데서래서나 태양 다 치용오고 누구다고 실라 전화 아니 세자 양다바 태권이 되어서나 세자 양다바 세대 다 가서 쉬와 예배 양다바 쓸거와디 낭주단 내수 tum바 인장 양다바 가서래 태권아 세가나 아니 전날에 왕고숨도 또비 로티기 낭주 태권라는 태권다 내와 인상 태권아 시과래 세자 양다바 태권이 된 시비 아니 리시지니비 리시지 태권이 그 된 시비 리시스나 아니 전남자위 참아달라 리시지니비 뉴궁오스나 뉴궁오 전단대바 뉴궁오 전단대바당 그러마 뉴궁오 전단대바당 当然写着准备通啊，写着准备写完的课上写完拿写一前呢，俺准备写完的录音团嘞，男主的那时候没听吧，落了男主这档，可能有的些有些给的了，男主这档，可能个有的那时候你我的没听吧，是吧？写着准备录音团加位，写着准备录音团加位，这的他也别参马去，他也别参马。他也被写俾如果我你要的是如果我得了团代表我知道团代表我知道你工作用我这个你要的是啊
So then this leads into where we left the text yesterday, at the point where it begins the discussion of the definition of phenomenal reality. And that has multiple subdivisions here. First being that all phenomena have two characters, and then there's also the source text which establish that. And then the text here says that all these internal and external things, all of them each have two characters, a phenomenal character, an ultimate character, and a phenomenal character. So the ultimate character here is referring to emptiness, and the phenomenal character is referring to the conventional character. So the phenomenal character then is the character of the thing which is phenomenally existent, and the ultimate character is, as said, the emptiness of the thing. Then, if we illustrate that with something like a sprout, then there's the character of the sprout, which is found by a rational consciousness. Here, rational awareness is a term referring to awareness which has validly cognized the ultimate, and this sort of rational awareness, which is seeing a object of knowledge which is true, and seeing it as it is. Here where it says an object of knowledge which is true, and that means that true here refers to something which exists the way it appears. In which there's no discrepancy between the way it appears and the way it exists. So that character of the sprout is that which is found by this kind of valid cognition, which is which is investigating the ultimate status of things, and so it's seen by that. Then there's the character of the sprout, which is found by a conventional awareness, which is validly knowing something which is a spurious, deceptive object of knowledge. Here,
No, she just about Louis turns, she just about Louis, Jumba Casa, she in bar, not do that, not to meeting by in town. Meeting by Jimmy turn, Luala Sumbe, Sikasan turns on. Zumba Lua Chiba, they are. Not do that, next meeting, she just Jumba, Louis turn, Javi, Tanya be Sheve. And then ye be you go on New York. Java and Toba.
So here, then this conventional knowledge, conventional awareness knows where it says it evaluates, or it evaluates literally this object of knowledge, which is a spurious, deceptive object. Here it means that that it is known by that kind of conventional awareness. So here where, again, as mentioned earlier, where something is defined as being spurious or deceptive, it means that there's a disparity between the way the thing appears and the way it actually exists. So that character of the sprout is the other character, the second character of the sprout.
Oh yeah, Tingamani said, "Sheja Yanda, but Tekoni, Ten Sibi, Rishiji, Nibi, Nugun Ode, Tendambang Ode. Sheja Zumba Lu, Ten Javi, Tanya be shaving Nibi, Nugun Ode, Chimani, and Nugunzobing Ode."
So then this is then it then says that the former of these, that is the character of the sprout, which is found by a rational awareness, which is understanding the ultimate, and in the context of that rational awareness, seeing a object of knowledge, which is a authentic thing, an authentic or true thing, as it is. That character of the sprout is the ultimate character of it. The character of the sprout, the character of the ultimate reality of the sprout, and then the latter, which is the latter then is the character of the phenomenal reality of the sprout, meaning the character which is character of the sprout, which is apprehended by conventional awareness, which understands a object, which is a object of knowledge, which is a spurious, deceptive object.
대다양 주발에 무근양다 준바 통화인 치당나기 오군 아니 세자 양다바 태권나니 시비 아니 시당 세자 준바 류团자위 아니 타냐비 세와 준바 통위 타냐비 세와기 니비 되니 와서 뭐니 뭐니 리시기니병 타냐비시병 니병 니요아레 승원이 좀
So then the source text to establish this is the introduction to the middle way, and there it says that all existence bear a twofold character: the nature found by correct vision and that found by spurious vision. So here this is again referring to the previous two characters of things that were presented above. That is the character of the character which is found by a rational awareness which has understood the ultimate when it is seeing a object of knowledge which is authentic or true as it is. Then that's the character which is seen by correct vision, and then the character of a thing which is the character of a thing which is found by a conventional awareness, which has an understanding of a object of knowledge which is a spurious and deceptive kind of object. That is then the character which is found by spurious vision.
Oh yeah, 양다 통유 간데 되니데 통화 좀 바꾼저 대마송 다 세자 양다바 아니 통위 리시기 안에 가서래 유태 유 리시기 유 강인 바 되니 강한데 리시기 유 되니 아니 대권한일이 전담된 바래 이러와 통한 좀 바꾼저 대마송 세는 좀바 통위 전바통화 타냐비 셰바기 아니 녜바기 대 아니 전바군저 담바레 타냐비 셰베 녜비 타냐 전바군저 담바레 통화 전바군저 담바송.
So then the last part of this, last half of this verse says, the object of correct vision is reality. The object of spurious vision is called phenomenal reality. So here, reality, the first form of reality is ultimate reality, and that's that which is found by correct vision, meaning here this rational awareness, which is has investigated the ultimate nature and the ultimate, and which is seeing reality as it is. That is called reality here. Referring to ultimate reality. And then the spurious vision here refers then to a awareness, conventional awareness, which is understanding which knows a object of knowledge which is spurious and deceptive. So that is here called phenomenal reality.
Oh yeah, Tanyua Teda Chama Sosin Yabatomani, Dinis, that Kondu Shabaki, and that Tonyo can Tonga Bakundu, moving under Tumbatoma Shesoki, Tiki, Shuntegi, Nugun Ola, Dini Nugun Ola, Nugutabi Ola, I know Tanda Bitambata Kundu Yuni Yebi, Tandam de, Tandan Dembade, I need Lucy Batekwana Tommy. 아니 가서를 된다면 시왕아마스 태권한 영무심도 통해 세제양다고 통해 유당 유 시왕아마당 군조니 시와 치면야 봤단 말이지 군조 담바데 안에 타냐비 시와냐 봤단 말 인지 뉴궁오 증이 아니 시왕아지를 때네 안에 담바니 스타만 말이 뉴구따고데 아니 전담담바 또 전담담바 무슨 또 놀았다네 전담당 뉴구데 군조담바로 타냐 비셔와라 때 군조담바 담바 말에서 뉴구직 와 유직이 아니 시왕아지를 때네 군조담바 담바 말에서 가르레에서나 뉴구오라 니예비나네 전담데 양다바 토베 시외뉴대당 군조데 타냐 비셔뉴대다 말에
So then, the further discussion of the this verse is that this verse shows that that each of these are explained here as being found. These two characters, the phenomenal, ultimate, and phenomenal character of the ultimate reality and phenomenal reality of something like a sprout, are found by different valid cognitions. And this is explained here as this text shows that that with respect to the character of a sprout, a thing like a sprout, then it has a twofold character corresponding to the two realities, the ultimate reality and phenomenal reality. And the ultimate is that which is found by the former awareness. Here the former awareness is referred to in the verse as correct vision. This is referring especially to, or particularly to the valid awareness, valid cognition, which has direct understanding of the ultimate. And then, so the ultimate is found by that former kind of awareness, whereas the phenomenal is found by the latter type of awareness. Here, the conventional awareness, which is understanding a object of knowledge which is spurious and deceptive. So this verse teaches that these two characters are found that way, but it's not saying that that there's a single character of the sprout which is established as the two realities from the perspective or in dependence upon these the former and latter type of awareness.
Oh yeah, that 되게 준재라 가서 시제되라. 또 민데 란데가 죽제래 오 탐제지란 거 넘버 2 녀와 땡데 치다나 거 탐제라 랑거 오데라 아니 대단병 오당 군조병 오니 넘버 2 녀와 땡데 디다데 오다 군조다 된다고 세 탄예비 시용 오데 예병 오데 군조당 양다바 동이 세외 예병 오데 된다바 디다데 군조다 된다고 시 오레리 오라스 오레리 오라 아니 군조 된담당 아니 가서를 군조니 니스 쳤네 된담바니 된담바디 양다비 된시비 시와 같은 예 된다 군조니 전바토비 세외 예바 손소
So then this is explained in the same way from the auto commentary to the introduction, where it says that all things have the own character of all things has two aspects. It is twofold, and it is explained in that way as having a twofold character. And these are the phenomenal and the ultimate. So then that's the quotation, and then it says each individual thing has two. Regarding the character of each individual thing, when that's divided into two, then the ultimate character is that which is found by an awareness which sees the authentic object here, seeing or having vision of the authentic, or seeing the authentic object is referring to this awareness which has investigated the ultimate and has seen the ultimate reality of things, and then then the phenomenal character, when one divides the character of things into two divisions, the phenomenal character of them is that which is found by the awareness which is seeing a spurious object. So, and that was explained just above as well, that the conventional awareness which understands or knows a object of knowledge which is a spurious, deceptive object, that awareness which is seeing that spurious object is the phenomenal, is that which is found by that kind of awareness.
Oh yeah, that 되게 가서 군조된바다 되는데 천이 세지. 타도 제비를 세지 녀든 전담된바다. 타냐 제지그 참에 그 녀든 아니 군조된바 전이 쏴야지. 좋아? 하고서 타도 제지. 타도 제지 그 참에 녀든. 타도 잡아서 내로 타도를 잡아 그 참에 녀든. 아니 타냐 제지 그 참아서 이거나 타냐도 여봐 또 또비서 참아라 타냐 제지 그 참아.
So then when one is defining the two realities, ultimate reality and phenomenal reality, they're defined that as the object, in the first case, the object found by a valid cognition which has investigated the final nature of things, the ultimate or a final way in which things exist. So the object found by that kind of valid cognition is ultimate reality, and then on the other hand, phenomenal reality is the object which is found by a conventional valid cognition. Is the object which is found by by a valid awareness which has investigated the conventional. That's how these two are defined.
단 예비 되는데라 탄여지지 참에 또 발라져야 직당. 타두지지 참에 되는지에 타두지지 참에 또 발라져야 직당. 탄여지지 참에 되는지에 탄여지지 참에 또 받잖아. 아니 탄여지지 참에 되는라 전담된 바 군도된 바 임배 차와요 말이야. 타두지지 참에 되이나 전담된 바 임배 차와요 말이야. 그러나 타두지지 참에 군도 또 와요. 탄여지지 참에야 전담 또 와요. 또 받잖아. 아니 차와요 말이야.
So then, when one is saying, when one has to qualify this expression, the object which is found by by these two forms of valid awareness, here it has to be understood as the object which is understood as 타투치지기 때문에 니든
타투치지기 때문에 니바세야 또 발라잖아. 자와점 또 받잖아. 아니 타투치지기 때문에 또 비트는데라. 전담 바 임 차와매 봐. 탄여지기 때문에 또 받점 비트는라. 군도 담바 임 차와매 봐.
The problem here is if one defines that which is found, the object found, in the sense of the finding there, in the sense of an understanding. If you take the word found in the object found in the sense of an object which is understood by these two kinds of valid awareness, then there's a problem because you won't be able to establish a definitive range for the two kinds of valid cognition. That is, one would, if it's mere understanding of an object, or an object which is merely understood by the valid awareness, valid cognition, which has investigated the final nature of things, it would not if you define it in that way, then it would not necessarily be ultimate reality alone. And similarly, with respect to the object found by a valid awareness which is investigating the conventional, if you define it simply as that which is understood by that kind of valid awareness, then it would also not be limited to the phenomenal realities, phenomenal realities. So the problem is that if you understand found as simply meaning understood, then the range of the objects, or the delineation of the objects that are known by those two kinds of valid knowledge would not be delineated properly.
오야, 배나 남진 라이나 치다와 또 남진에서나 아니 전담 잡아자 전담 잡아 세자 치다와 자비 남진 치다와 또 남진에서나 전담 잡아자비 타두지지 참아 친여 받침에 남진에서나 다녀주지 그 남진 참아 그러나 인자 치다와 또 남진 대기 세자 친여 받고도 잡아 또 와래现在企业把工作点把多过来，现在企业把工作多把多印章，现在企业把工作点把的其他话多比南京个热点热，多把咱那热点下那热点热，俺那态度积极个前面热点热，他真的怎么买的吧？是吧？真的买的吧？提醒都现在企业把钱比南京贴个内陆态度多的，内陆态度多那样。내로 타도 자와래데 내로 타도데 친여부터 참이 녀되래 야 군도 때만 말해 자와면 어디래 그러면
Jitawa Kimpi Namkindi.
지도 도비 체면 예된라 가서 타두집이 체면 예된라 전단 대바 연구고 말해. 다 예된 잠라 샤나 또바 잠라 샤나.
Jitawa Kimpi Namkindi.
지도 도비 남진기 도비 유라 군조 대바 요아래. 지도 도비 남진기 예된리 전단 대바 말해.
Jitawa Kimpi Namkindi. Dendamdemba.
지도 도비 남진기 군조 대바 또아래. 군조 대바를 지도 도비 남진기 예된리 또아래와 또바 전에 샤지 잠바.
Topatsamla, Shaktutsamba. Molus.
다 전단 대바 말해. 말해와 군조 대바.
Nos.
야. 헷갈려 가보시라면 돼야.
So then, the reason this delineation of these two, in terms of these, the issue here is the object which is found by these two kinds of valid cognition. The problem here is that if one if one takes the term found to simply mean understood, then the problem arises that one isn't able to establish properly the way in which the two forms of omniscience of a Buddha function to know objects. The issue here is that the Buddha's omniscience is divided into two portions or aspects. That which understand the omniscience which knows things as they are, and the omniscience which knows things in their diversity. So, in terms of the omniscience which knows things as they are, the principal object of that is ultimate reality. That is the ultimate reality of things. Nevertheless, that omniscience, because it is omniscient also necessarily has to know the plurality of things, that the diversity of things which are phenomenal reality. So, if you define it, if you define ultimate reality simply in terms of the object which is found by this kind of omniscience which knows the things as they are, then the problem is that one hasn't defined that object widely enough, because that kind of omniscience actually knows even also the diversity of things, the phenomenal reality as well. And similarly with the case of the omniscience which knows the diversity of things, the things in their diversity, that kind of omniscience, its principal object is phenomenal reality, and yet it also, because it is omniscient, it likewise knows ultimate reality. So if one defines this the term here, the object found by either of these forms of valid cognition, as simple understanding of an object of knowledge, then that problem entails that the definition of the delineation or definition of the objects that are found by these two forms of omniscience are not properly established, the two delineations of the two kinds of objects.
인자 제다도베 남진디 군도 담바야 또와레 전담 담바야 또와레 인자 니가 제다도베 남지가 녀데레 라 다 전담 담바데 제다도 남지 전담 담바 전담 담바 임바다 군도 담바데 제다도베 남지가 녀데인 타도 제직 참여 녀데 인장 안데 전담 담바 말와 인장 다 천이 조절 잠바 타두 제제기 체면 녀된 임발라 타두 제제지 참마데 켜라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘나 전단 담바 타두 제제지 참마데 켜라 타두 제제기 참마 마쏘나 아니 마쏘나제 산여 제제 참마 쏘나 군저 담바서 그래 인장 다 지다와 또 남진데 안에 가서라 돈이라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘 라 군조 덴발라 타두 제제기 참마 마쏘 마송하러 인자 타두 제제기 체면 녀된 강식라 안에 철라 타두 제제기 참마데 철라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘나 된담 담바 라 된담 담바체 그래서
타두 주직이 제마스
예대 임발라 타두 제제기 참마데 철라 요대는 여된달라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘나 된담 담바
타두 주직이 제마
참마 쏘나
소나
된담 담바
된단 담바
기타 또 남제데 된담 담발라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘 군조 담바디 티응게데 이나양 군조 담발라 타두 제제기 참마 마쏘
당보다 드nom치 타두 주직이 제미 니든 송원라
니데 송원라 고 된단 담바 용고 그러다
그래
네 그래 홀라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘데 가라 고 된단 담바 용고 그래
타두 주직이 제미 송원
타두 제제기 체면 니데 강식라 참마데 요텔라 타두 제제기 참마 쏘나 된담 담바
So the point here is that here these two forms of omniscience they are, since they're omniscient, necessarily they have to know both phenomenal and ultimate and phenomenal reality. So when one is speaking in terms of the omniscience which knows things as they are, that valid cognition knows both. That valid cognition knows both ultimate reality and phenomenal realities in their totality. There's no object that it does not know. Yet, when one is specifying that omniscience as the omniscience which knows things as they are, one specifies that it's omniscient. It's the omniscience which knows things as they are, as it goes to being a valid cognition of ultimate reality. That is, to the extent that it arrives at a valid cognition of ultimate reality, then the object which is found by that
지다와 집이 남제인데 라 베남 군조 담바데 지다와 집이 남제가 녀들레스 라 녀들레 또바 인상 군조 담바 지다와 또 남제가 녀들 인장 지다와 또 남제제 군조 담바라 타둑제제 그 참아 송야 말에 타둑제제 그 참아 송아지고 그거래서 난 담바 인발라 타둑제제 그 참아 송아지고 그거래 지다와 또 남제도 군조 담바라 타둑제제 그 참아 마송아 인장 된다데마 말에 녀들 레디 된다다 말에 마인바데 가르 타둑제제 그 참아 마송아래 군조 담바라
So the point here is that the omniscience that knows things as they are doesn't act as a valid awareness with respect to the diversity of things, their phenomenal realities, insofar as it is a valid awareness, a valid knowledge with respect to is examining the final nature of things. And similarly, the omniscience which knows things in their diversity is not a valid knowledge with respect to, it is not acting as a valid knowledge with respect to the things as they are, the final nature of things, insofar as it is acting as a valid knowledge with respect to phenomenal reality, things in their diversity. So the two, when one specifies the objects which are found by these two forms of omniscience, these two aspects of omniscience, one is doing it not in the simple sense of the objects which are known by these two kinds of omniscience, but rather one is specifying that it's the objects which are known by that omniscience to the extent or insofar as it's operating as a valid awareness of the specific object of knowledge here, either things as they are, the ultimate reality of things, or things in their diversity, the phenomenal reality of things.
전담담바디 아니 세자 진예바도 비타냐 진예바도 어디 타냐 저지 그 참아샤네 전담담바디 세자 진예바자위 남진기 묘대리 묘대 이나양 아니 진예바도 비 남제데 전담담바라 아니 타두제지 참만 마송 라 마송 와인장
Jinyepa Kempe Yeshila.
남지 그 예제라와.
Jinyepa Kempe Yeshila.
진예 선놈 단단 대바지 세자 진예 거서 남지 그 또바 인자 녀대래. 와. 와. 인장 진예바 집에 남제대 단단 대바라 안에 가서래. 득지보 타두제지 그 참만 마송. 타두제지 참 마송. 그러나 아니 군도 대마다 타냐제지 그 참을 쏜 거야. 그러나 타냐비 타두제지 그 참만 예전 인장 코라 타냐제지 그 참을 타두제지 그 참을 마송 와래. 전난단 말이야.
So then the same thing again to repeat or to elaborate on with respect to the omniscience which knows things in their diversity. It is operating.
지다와도 베나제 타냐지 세만유데레스 그러와 다 지다와도 베남지 진진이와도 베남지 타냐지 텐라와데 지다와도 비 세자 지다와데라 타냐지 그 참만 마송 타냐지 그 참만 마송 그 또장 콜라 타냐지 그 참만 마송와 인장 전단대 바꾼도 대바타 있게요 말했어 어디를.
So another way to present this or to state this is that the omniscience which knows things as they are is with respect to things as they are, that is the ultimate reality of things. It's not operating as a conventional awareness, which is in investigating the diversity of things or things in their phenomenal reality. So one can explain it in that way as well. And similarly, with respect to the same thing applies to the omniscience, which knows things in their diversity. It's not operating insofar as it is not operating as a valid awareness, which is investigating things as they are, the final nature of things. Then it's the objects which are found by that are conventional, phenomenal things.
Oh yeah, 근데 타두제비 리세지 녀된 강식이라 타두제지지 리세데 최다 타두제제 그 참말 송화데 전담된바 타녀제제 그 참면 녀된 강식이라 타녀제제 그 참마데 최다 타녀제제 그 참말 송화데 군소된바.
So then the two realities then are defined as with respect to
타녀제제 그 참면 녀된 강식이라 타녀제제데 제제 그 참마데 최다 타녀제제 그 참말 송나 아니 군소된바.
So then so the valid awareness, which investigates conventional things, to the extent that it arrives at conventionalities, then the objects which are found by that are understood as phenomenal reality. So that's the definition then of phenomenal reality, as the object found by the valid awareness, which is investigating conventionalities, to the extent that it arrives at a conventionally existing thing. And then the same thing applies with the appropriate changes being made to the valid awareness, which investigates the final nature of things.
Oh yeah, that did the shower. Yana that Casare, receiving you doing singing. Ani rishik Java Zala Machava. Rishik Nudin said, Rishik Tobazana Mashaba. Rishi take Yuji Zola Jasona. Ani Pachatawa. Nudin said, Rishik Yuji Zo. Tanya Jig, Tamin Nudin said, Tanya Jig, Tame, Ani Yuji Zo. Tadu Jig, Taman Nudin said, Tadu Jig, Yuji Zo. 유지 쪼고라 타진 하시고 그거래. 다고에 왠자 유지 쪼고들라 타두지 리식 유지 쪼고들라 된단다 봐. 탄여지 유지 쪼고들라 군조된 봐. 탄여지 참에 유인 받자마라 된단다 봐. 임모 군조된 봐. 임모고 타두지 유인 받자마라 된단다 봐. 임모고 유지 쪼고들라 된단다 봐. 그래. 자나자야 이제.
Another way to construe this is by taking the object which is found by these two kinds of valid awareness, in terms of, one defines that object found by these two kinds of valid awareness in terms of the principal object found by these two forms of valid knowledge. So in the case of the valid knowledge which has investigated the final nature of things, the principal object of that is ultimate reality, and likewise the principal object which is found by the valid awareness, which is investigating the conventional, is phenomenal reality. So however, again, we can't limit these objects strictly. One has to say the principal object. Otherwise, one would have to include the other reality within the objects known by these kinds of valid knowledges, valid knowledge, because of the problem that was just discussed in terms of the two aspects of the omniscience of the Buddha. The two realities are understood by both aspects of the omniscience of a Buddha, but one has to specify that these aspects, either in terms of how they're operating as valid awareness, valid knowledge, or in terms of the principal objects that are the principal objects of these two forms of valid awareness. Otherwise, the definition of the two realities gets collapsed or goes together.
Oh yeah, 다양 가르소래. semsam바다, 란주바다, 탄주와 관계가라 진주를 소마대. 아니, 군자단이 된담대 대니 담반이 있을 때 된단 로이 제임이 로니 군자 임바대. 아니 진주 샤라를 올라서 와나 신이체니. 아니 된단 로이 제임이 로니 군자 임바대 세대 간데레 세거나 다 된단 대비 천시당 군자 대비 천영을 소니. 된단 로이 제임이 세가라 된담 담바대 니난다 제와기 로 군조바가 무슨 그저요 말에 무슨 니난 제외로 군조바가 무슨 지저요 말에 된단 담바대 와 된단로의 주임이 로니 군조 임바제 세대기 로니 군조 니난다 제외 아니 로 군조의 무슨 지저요 강임바테 군조 담바대 와 세가라 tendan debate nina nubi loyong musum ku cheyu tang kunzo debate nina cheyu loy musum cheyu yin ba sha yin zang sha gu wa yin zang ti ge kong che rang musum de do be musum cheme nina nubi ko na do ba cha wa 是吧 然后我们的道别我说前面你那的介有关的道吧吃哇工作道吧下一句的
So then,
比方说谈到落雨就有名这个啦谈到两把的落工作吧我什么就有嘛你那的介有我那去的是啦你那那边落谈到安尼谈到家有前面有点把就来活过的是吧 落你工作人把的谁干呢？你那家介于落工作人，我什么就有抗议把天呢工作单把的。
So this same issue is addressed, or the discussion of this is addressed with respect to a verse from the introduction to the Bodhisattva's way of life, and there it says,
谈到落雨就有名，落你工作人把的，工作单你谈他们的，工作单你谈他们的，天天单把你是的，谈到落雨就有名，落你工作人把的。
So then, this verse out of the introduction to the Bodhisattva's conduct says that the phenomenal and ultimate are the two realities, and the ultimate is not the object of cognition. Cognition is So then cognition is asserted to be phenomenal. Okay, so the verse here is setting up the two realities, and it on the surface appears to say that the ultimate reality is not an object of cognition, because it says in the last line that cognition is phenomenal. Here, this has to be interpreted correctly and understood what is the intention behind this, where it says that the ultimate is not the object of mind, of cognition. Here, this is referring to any kind of cognition which possesses dual appearance. That is, subject and object appear as in a distinct way. So when it says the ultimate is not an object for cognition, that's referring to cognitions which possess that kind of dual appearance, such that the object appears distinct from the cognizing subject. However, with respect to the ultimate, the principal cognition of it is a cognition in which this kind of dual appearance between subject and object has disappeared, so that the subject and object, that sort of dual appearance has disappeared from the cognition. And therefore, then where it says a cognition is asserted to be phenomenal, that is in turn referring to cognitions that take as their objects phenomenal things, such that this dual appearance is necessarily always present. But on the other hand, one has to establish ultimate reality as the object of a cognition in which this dual appearance has disappeared.
다 되게 진족을 써야 되거나 아니 가서래 이나 누비고네 랑고숨도 도병고숨 체매 이나 누비고네 도바차와 전단대마 랑고숨도 도병고숨 체매 아니 이나는 제유고네 도바차와 되라 아니 군조된바.
So then another way to define ultimate reality and phenomenal reality is the first ultimate reality is is that which is understood by a valid cognition in which or by within which the dual appearance has disappeared. And then phenomenal reality is defined as that which is understood by a valid awareness, valid knowledge, in which dual appearance has not disappeared.
Oh yeah, Tanina Nup said, Nina dela, Ane Dendrukinawa, Ane Kunjokinawa, Ane Yuda Yuja Tadabinawa, or Sumuan. Oh.
So then with respect to dual appearance, there's three aspects of it.
Kunjokinawa, Yuda Yuja Tadabinawa, Ane Gajanawa, Dendrukinawa.
So there's three forms of this. First is the appearance of the phenomenal. The second is a dual appearance, which is the appearance of subject and object. And then the third form of dual appearance is the appearance of the object of negation, that is an appearance of things as being established as real, the object of negation.
다 전단대방 모습도 또 빌로텔라 돈이 모습 또 빌로마 전단대방 모습 또 빌로텔라 아니 군족이 나왔네 배나 가사 때문에 모습 또 빌로텔라 가사 그때 돈이 모습 또 빌로텔라 군족이 나왔네 유 가사당 유제 아니 돈이 또 빌로니 오데 타대비 나왔네 아니 가사 때문에 주가게 나와야 된주게 나와야 합니다. 원이나 숨가 누바 인장 아니 가사 댐바 매바데 랑 무슨도 또비 무슨 참아 되게 이나 누비고나 또바차와 두시가다.
So then therefore in the case of a person who is has direct awareness of the selflessness of the person, that direct awareness is such that all three forms of these dual appearance have disappeared. The appearance of things, phenomenal things, has disappeared. The appearance of subject and object have disappeared. And then likewise, the dual appearance of the object of negation, the self of the person, has disappeared. So therefore,
가자 나와 매봐 된루가 매봐 아니 유다 유제 타대베 나와 매봐 군족이 나와 매봐 나와 순간 봐
진이 카레 제천지 문숨도 도봐
랑무숨도 비타메 무슨 체메 이나 누비고나 도바차와. So
this is something that then has been understood, in which it's been understood in a way in which it's a direct perception of it has understood it by way of this dual appearance having disappeared.
다 되니 수송 웃음도 또왜 타냐베 참아대라 아니 군족이 나와요 아니 된주기 나와요 봐 인장 니나 제유권에 또바차와.
So then with regard to things like physical forms, etc., these things when they appear conventionalities, phenomenal things. They appear as phenomenal things. They appear as subject and object, the distinct subjects, the subject and the object appears distinctly. And then they can also appear such that the object of negation, them appearing as if they're established as real, appears as well. So all three can, but not necessarily do, appear to the cognition which So this conventional valid awareness, which has direct has perception of the direct knowledge of this object, can then have all three of these types of duality existing within the way the object appears to it.
Kani adayami oya.